So now I'm going to take you through 4 of the key abdominal exercises, which are predominantly going to start working through the abdominals, the oblique muscles on the side, and also through the core. So we're going to start off aiming for about 20 repetitions. So we'll start from rotating first. So as we rotate, try and get into the awareness that you're actually rotating from the center rather than pulling from the arms. Notice also that the focus should be on the hips, making sure the hips stay square. So the 100% of the work is coming from the center. So the idea now as we work through our 20 repetitions, as we're going out for 2 more, to progressively make it a bit more challenging, we're now going to bring the knees up. So the knee stays are only doing exactly the same thing. Now the focus here is now increasing the work of the abdominals and from the obliques. So again, we'll move on for 20 repetitions. And again, that focus is from the center rather than pulling through the arms. Now making sure as you rotate, try and get that elbow back as far back as you can. The chest is lifted. Particularly on this one, as we start to tire on this one, to make sure that the technique stays as strict as you can. Now the third exercise from here as we progress is we now push one leg away. So we turn and push. Now the legs act like a lever, which now challenge your center. So now you're going to really start to feel this working through your abdominals and obliques. As we now finish off on 10 more, and again being strict on the rotation, all from the center, less from the arms. So this long leg movement, as we start to breathe and focus on the out breath to work through our center. And then relax. Well done. Now I'm going to take you through a high intensity interval training program, which is a very, very short and intense program, just using 4 of the main exercises with the cable core. So the idea behind this is you're going to move for or perform 30 seconds of repetitions as fast and intensive as you can, giving yourself 10 seconds rest in between. So within those 30 seconds that are on, you're going to perform as many repetitions as you can. So our first one we're going to start off with is the jumping squats. So it's a big dynamic movement, working at pretty much every muscle in the position. So we're going to hit the clock now as we go for 30 seconds. Here we go. So again, during these 30 seconds, as you start to push up through the chest and through the hips, it's big jumping movements, big dynamic movements, to burn more calories, but again, as we go for these last 15 seconds, to try and pack as many repetitions as you can, so it's intensive as we work through. So we're heading now for 10 seconds, making sure again that we're going to push and drive through the hips and through the chest as you jump up. As we go for the last 2, now it's 10 seconds. So now we breathe for 10 seconds, have a quick rest, and then we're going to do the same again for another set of 30 seconds. So our aim is to try and perform as many repetitions. Okay, we're back on. As many repetitions as the first set, if not more. So and again, as we start to get tired, the technique starts to go. So this is where we have to really start to focus on pushing up through our chest, through the hips. So again, it's these big dynamic movements as you work through. As we hit the clock now for 10 seconds, technique's looking absolutely spot on. And again, driving through that chest. As we finish, just on 2 seconds, and relax. So you'll get a feel after the first lot of exercises how challenging this type of program can be. All right, now after a quick breather, we're now going to move on to the press-ups. So for this one, we're going to have our feet in the straps and our hands on the floor. Now, again, to put these straps on, making sure the straps just by the ankle. And again, to take advantage of the pulley system, to really start to work through our core, we're going to make sure and keep our feet roughly sort of hip distance. Now for this one, again, we're going to be working through our core and upper body. We're going to perform 1 press up with both knees in towards the chest as 1 repetition. Same sort of thing as the previous exercise, 30 seconds intensive, as many repetitions as you can with a 10-second breather. So we're going to get the clock ready. Okay, when you're ready, push down on the knees. Here we go, 30 seconds. So now we're going to perform 1 press up. So we're going to start hitting the whole body on this one, back of the arms and chest. But again, because we're suspended on that pulley system, our core and abdominals really start to kick in. Now this is a tough exercise, hitting pretty much every muscle in the body. So as we go now for 10 seconds, remember it's all about trying to perform as many repetitions as you can. So as we're pulling our knees in towards the chest, getting the abdominals to fire off, keeping those feet roughly hip distance, and then relax. So now we're into our 10 seconds breather. So again, you can see just from 2 exercises how challenging this exercise can be. Okay, we're back on our last 30 seconds. And away we go. Now, as we said before, during that second set, the technique starts to go as we start to fatigue. So our focus here, again, is to make sure technique is absolutely spot on. Key things we're looking out for is mainly through the hips, to make sure the hips don't drop down any lower than shoulder height. Okay, we've got about 5 seconds to go as we finish off, as we go for 3, 2, 1, and relax. So you get the idea, just after 2 exercises, how challenging this program can be. Okay, so we've got 2 more exercises to get through. Now we're going to start to hit our upper body, or upper back. So into the pull-ups. Now, with this one, as you bring the feet a little bit further forward, and again, after a quick rest, just keep bringing the feet a little bit further. So you're trying to get as much body weight into this position. Now, again, to make this more intensive, the further the feet are forward, the more body weight comes into play. So before we start, making sure you get a good grip on the straps. Again, our pulley system is now going to make this more challenging as we try and work and hold through our core. Now we're going to fix our whole body. As before, 30 seconds intensive, 10 seconds rest. Okay, as we get our clock ready, here we go, 30 seconds. So you'll notice as we start to pull up, the key things to watch out for is the hips don't dip at the end. So you think about working through our center, using the front part of the arms, but also now starting to pull up through the upper back. Now remember, it's 30 seconds intensive. As we now finish for 10 seconds, trying to maintain good form and technique. As we finish now for 5, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And again, we're into our 10 seconds rest. Same position before. Now on the second set, we can try and increase that a little bit more by having the feet a little bit further forward. More body weight. Okay, last 30 seconds. Now remember, this is where our technique starts to go. Go for it. So again, our focus, squeezing in between the shoulder blades. The body stays in a straight line. So we start only working through upper back, front part of the arms, but also working through your back extensors. Okay, as we finish now, as we pick the pace for 5 seconds. Absolutely spot on. Last one, and relax. Well done. Okay, the last and final exercise now to finish off. So for this one, we're going to finish off on the paddle. And this one really demonstrates the effectiveness of this pulley system and what this cable system can do. So again, we've got our 2 sets of 30 seconds into the paddle to finish. So easiest way to remember on this one is if you think of it as if you're lying on your surfboard. Great one for working through upper body again, chest, shoulders, front part of the arms. But also the main focus due to that pulley system is going to be onto the core. Now, your goal is to try and keep the body in a completely straight line and fixed. The work actually comes from our center. Now, from this one, as we hit our clock and we go for our 30 seconds, go for it. Is you're paddling forward. So you're reaching out as you work through. The hardest focus on this one is now to keep the focus on the hips, making sure they stay square. So you reach out and across, paddling forward, working through shoulders, front part of the arms, chest, but again, working from here. And again, it's that 30 seconds intensive as we now move for 5 seconds. And relax. 10 seconds breather. As we move into our second and final set. And again, focus on technique. Here we go, last 30 seconds. Go for it. So we're paddling forward, shoulders square, hips are square. Keeping the body fixed. Big, strong movements as you overreach and paddle forward. Paddle, that's the way. As we now finish on the final 15 seconds, focus on technique. Absolutely spot on. Overreaching as you paddle forward. As we finish on 4. And relax. Well done. Okay, so our last exercise, again, it's a good foundation exercise to really work through our abdominals and core. A bit mean to finish off on the program. So you're going to feed one loop on one side of the ankle, same thing on the other. Now with the big loops on this side, we'll try and get those positions just by the ankle as opposed to being on the foot. Now we're going to rest on our elbows and forearms, which help us then to focus a little bit more again through our core and our center. Now, as we push down the straps, you'll notice that the knees will lift up. Now you'll also notice by keeping the legs hip distance, the focus on the pulley system helps us now to initiate the work from the core. Now, as you pull both knees in towards the chest, your focus is trying to make sure that the feet stay hip distance to help this pulley system kick in, so the work then really starts to activate through the core. Now we're going to aim just for 10 of these, just to begin with, and as we become a little bit stronger, we'll build up to our 15 to 20 repetitions. So when you pull the knees in towards the chest, you're trying to pull in that little bit extra to really focus on that work from the abdominals. So as we pull in, super slow and controlled on the way back. One of the key points to watch out for in this exercise is to make sure that the hips go no lower than shoulder height. If they start to drop down a little bit too much, you'll start to feel the work coming from the lower back. So we're going to aim for just 2 more as we finish off on our last one. Great stuff.